Hello, people. What's going on? I'm back. Back to do another Turntable Currents. I got a small batch of records to show and talk about. Kind of just give you my personal feelings about what I've been listening to this past week, week. It's only, I guess it's Thursday now, but hope everybody's had a good week. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, just here. Early morning. It's my right time to come into the space cave and just hang out a little bit. Appreciate everybody that's been watching my videos, reaching out. It's been cool to converse. But yeah, what's going on? Everything is okay. Everything is okay. Kind of just had a day this yesterday, just kind of in my mind, thinking about things and life, my life. It's moving so fast, just got me thinking about things, and how it's going, man. It's like the river flows, that's the way I've been feeling. But I went to the doctor not too long ago, just get a checkup on things and stay on top of that. And doctor started talking about mortality. I was like, damn, dude, just wanted you to run my blood and all that, but it does. You think about it. And as I'm getting older, I think about just time, and I'm growing more to the fact of not really caring, in the sense of what people think, approval. I have for you. It's been one of my I guess my weaknesses. I care what people think, and especially when they get personal and they talk about me. they make comments and stuff that it gets under your skin a little bit. But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing this shit doesn't matter anymore, man. It's just like, who are we all as a society or as ourselves trying to prove to one another? And I find it incredibly sad that there's so many out there that just want to get people's approval, and they're just walking zombies, to a point. And it's just materialistic, whatever. I'm more interested in creating some new memories and getting into nature more and actually doing it, letting go of things. Sometimes we feel ripped off. Sometimes, we can hold some resentment and this and that. And I don't got time for that, man. None of us really do, but some people, they'll fight it tooth and nail. And, that's the mystery of life too, is just the unknown and how much time you got and this and that. So I've been really thinking about that, and I was really in my head yesterday, and just kind of just under a cloud a little bit, So of course I come in here, music distracts me, makes me feel better, and I start just enjoying my life memories and my life, and the people that have shaped it in one way or another. But caring about and coming to the realization, I've been going through this transformation these last couple of years, and shit still pisses me off, like politics and the way the world and the country is going, and things that we cannot control. But I'm always meditating to release that and not to get caught up in things I can't change, and getting pissed off. And I've evolved. I can see it in myself, but At the same time, it's hard because I'm human, and things rub me the wrong way, or I feel like, getting ripped off on something. But I come to a point as, it's like many blessings, many, and many, but, it's let go, release, breathe, and go with the river, man. Really. And that's kind of where I'm headed. Trying to find my spot. Sometimes being alone and just having a small net group of people, a fellowship of people, is where it's at for me. Like I said, sometimes it's just being with my dogs, being with my lady, and so anyway, that's kind of been on my mind lately. So many people make life a popularity contest. It starts when you're young, through high school and all that drama, and then some people just continue to do it. I know people that were so obsessed with that, and they're still on that plane, which is kind of sad to me. Even though they're adults, have jobs, have families, it's still a competition. And to me, each his own, man. If that's what you want to do, and that's what your journey, your path is, then as long as you're happy and you're healthy, why not? Just don't forget what's inside, especially in your mind, of doing right by others. So anyways, just kind of riffing on that. I've just been thinking about stuff and things I have to do, and hopefully, me and my lady talked about maybe taking a trip somewhere this summer, because we haven't been anywhere in probably 4 or 5 years. And we don't go all out, it's just, I like going to the mountains. She loves the ocean and the mountains. And just going down roads less traveled for us. But the way things are going, I don't know, man. I keep telling her, I said, we're going to shoot for something, man, but, I'm not flying. Fuck that. That's chaos, man. I last flew to Iowa going on my 4 years ago, and, it was okay, but it's chaos, it's just, and everything's changing right now with all the madness going on. But then on the other hand, I like to drive anyways, but I was at the store. I drove by the gas station today, and already $4.19, $5.19. It's just fucking ridiculous, man. And I'm just being real, I don't know, man. It's just, as soon as you finally get up the hill, you gotta, you slide down on the other side, because it's just like, fuck. Where's the break in life, of happiness and goodness, and, and I don't know, I guess it's what you make it. And if you really want to take a trip here, there, or everywhere, you're going to do it, So anyways, I hope to take some trips to the record store this summer. I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, I haven't been spending, it's been a few years really, that, I was on this trip of going to the record store day, participating in that, and the last couple of years I haven't done it. It just got, I remember there was a lot I had to put back one record store, because it just come to a realization. You get caught up in this madness of, like, I need that, I need this, I need blah, blah, blah. And half the time I find it later on for cheaper, or, wherever. But I just kind of, these last couple of years, some by not choice, but some mostly choice, that I decided, I've got other priorities, and I still need to discover in my collection. I still have a lot of records that I have sealed past record store days and just other buys. But I get, like I said, I get that itch sometimes, I just have good feelings. I have, I love looking through a big collection of records. Nothing overwhelming. We have a couple stores, man, and it is so, I get halfway through, man, and it's just, I can't take it anymore. I get really anxious about it because it's just so much and it's just tiring. And I don't know. I could spend a whole day, and I'd like to go back out and get out there maybe this summer and look for some records and do a good dig and not just dollar find stuff. Actually look for some stuff that I've wanted. I have a huge list of stuff that I've reissues or new stuff that I really want to explore and buy. But it's not the end of the world. I've got so much already. Um, yeah, I'm still inventorying a lot of my stuff, organizing it. I started organizing the Space Cave really serious a few years ago. I painted. I've got my Chesterfield. I got my velvet curtains over here, red velvet, black walls, black ceiling. I'm still looking for a nice rug. I've got a small one in here, but I'm looking for a Persian rug. And just setting up my stereo and stuff. But I started counting my records and going through and making sure alphabetizing. And right now I'm starting the long journey of chronicling them and putting them in order alphabetically. But like right now, I got all my A's, put them with my A's, put them with my B's, because they were, and I'm slowly going through. But I started entering them all in Discogs. I had lost my very first Discogs. I had everything logged, and I don't know what happened to my page. I got locked out of it, something. And so I started this other one a few years ago, and slowly, I still have some other records out in the other room that I'm putting together. I need to get another shelf, and then I'm packed. So again, it's the limiting of buying and blah blah blah. But I'm still up for it, man. There's still a lot of stuff I want to explore and discover that could be 50, 60 years old. But I love music so much. I love records. I mean, it's just records have been part of my whole life. Seeing my dad. I've always thought my dad had a huge collection, but I've blown him out of the water by now, and I have his collection mixed with mine now. But yeah, I'm still searching. I'm still out there, and I miss the days where you could get with some people and get together, have lunch, go out, record dig. A lot of my friends that are like that are way far away, hours away, or in other states. Unfortunately, I don't have really any friends here that like music as much as I did. They used to, but I'm kind of a loner, man. I really am, and that's okay. I'm a loner, and I do my thing. I have my journey. People think I'm strange. I have an old friend that she said, "You're an odd person, man, but I dig you, and I've always dug you since I met you. And that was when we were in our teens." But she says, you were you. And so at first I was like, is that an insult or is that a compliment? So I know she meant no harm, but I am. That's the truth. A lot of people think my beliefs are outdated, or I'm just, I don't know. And it kind of, I don't know. It's just whatever. But like I said, that's part of not caring what people think, and and going back to doing your thing, what makes you happy. And so that's what I'm trying to fulfill my life of, being happy. I care about what my lady thinks. Obviously, I love her. She loves me, and but I want to do better for her, and I know she does well for me. She does better for me, and that's, in the end, that's what matters to me. It's not all this stuff. It's not all these records. It's just what I did in my life and how I'm fulfilling it. So that's kind of off topic of Turntable Currents, but that's kind of where I'm at, man. And I'm enjoying the trip, the ride of life. I hope to have many, many more years. Truly, it's such a gift of life, And every morning when I wake up, honestly, thank you for this day. I'm grateful. And I'm grateful that I have friends through here, and I'm grateful for a peaceful life. I'm not going to say semi, but I do have a peaceful life when I think of others, and I'm grateful for where I've been and what I've been through, good or bad, because I'm learning, and I'm evolving. I'm accepting. So, anyways, yeah, let's talk about these records. Let's talk about these records. Just been blind pulling again, rediscovering some of these albums. You know, I'm trying to, I post a lot of my records through my Instagram at Turntable Currents. And it's just about my records. And I'll post a snippet of a good song or a song that I really like off that album. It may not be the most popular single or whatever that came off that album, but, and I started doing it through my social media, and people have questioned me in the past, why do you post these? You know, 'cause a lot of people, they don't even acknowledge them. Majority of my followers on certain platforms, they don't ever acknowledge it. You know, it's come off to me over the years because I've been logging these for, probably over 10 years. And sometimes I redo them because I'm evolving, my camera's evolved or whatever. And so I'm getting better photos, but I've been questioned, and, people have rolled their eyes about it. And, it's just like, who I am, why does it bother you so much? But truly why I do it is it's a visual inventory for myself. And I like looking at everything as a whole. And I like looking back at people's comments, especially the ones that have passed on. People have made comments in the past, and likes or this and that. And, that's what it was all about. And so there is no particular order. I've been having fun just going through, because, and I guess what I was meaning by that was I saw some of the records that I've posted in the past, and I deleted them and then retook a photo or logged it. And, it's going back, I haven't listened to this album, and I can honestly say, maybe I have, but according to that, it had been like 2013 last time I listened to it. So it's rediscovering my records. I may have listened to these on, streaming or CD, but going back and actually physically doing the ritual of getting up, changing the record, looking at the notes, reliving, sitting here with your eyes closed as I do, and just really just hearing the physical cracks and pops, and all that. It's all a ritual. It's all part of the deal. So I pulled some out. A couple of them I pulled out on purpose, because I know I had them, because there's two artists here, the first two that has passed away recently in the past week. And again, I'll just show you what I listened to. First one being Clarence Carter. This is his second album, The Dynamic Clarence Carter. I think this was 1968 on Atlantic Records. 1969. Good album, man. He passed away at the age of, I think, 90 years old. And another talented blind artist. So this is more of an R&B blues album. Has Dwayne Allman on guitar. The most notable. This is another one, his sessions that he did. But it's got Harper Valley PTA. I'd Rather Go Blind is the opening track on this album. Think About It, The Road of Love, You've Been a Long Time Coming, Light My Fire, Doors, That Old Time Feeling, Steal Away, Let Me Comfort You, Look What I Got, Too Weak to Fight, Harper Valley PTA, and Weekend Love. And Weekend Love is the closing track. That's the one that stood out to me when I listened to this. I mean, it's all great. but that was the one that was in my head, and the sample I used when I posted this. But yeah, um, a life well lived. Carter had another hit, "Strokin'." I guess that was back in the '80s or the '90s, and I always as a teenager, or you think, what kind of stroking is he talking about? So, anyways, this was recorded at the Muscle Shoals and Fame Studios in Alabama. So yeah, another great gone. I have a few albums of hers. She passed away. Claudine. Claudine, was it Longet? French, I believe. This is a pretty mellow album. I turned this on the other day because I remember it. I hadn't listened to it in a long time. But this was an album that I just remember being mellow. Mostly has a few Donovan tracks, Simon and Garfunkel covers. Song that stuck out to me that I used as I'm Joni Mitchell was Pussy Willow and Cattails. I like that song. It's real mellow, and it's really showcases. She had such a strong accent, for one. She was once married to Andy Williams. I do know that. And I think this had, was it this album? It had Randy Newman on piano? I can't see. It's another thing. I'm getting older, man, so my eyes aren't. I have to go like this now. I'm trying to get some new glasses soon. Let me see. Jim Gordon on drums. Man, that was another. Jim Gordon played a lot of albums. He was famously in Derek and the Dominoes. I think he was in Blind. No, that was Ginger Baker. Yeah, Derek and the Dominoes. And then it has, Randy Newman on piano on a song or two. Claudine, she was, I believe she was an actress too, maybe. But she was, and I hate to bring it up, but she famously was dating an Olympic. I believe he was a runner or a swimmer. And notably, she had murdered him. And she said it was an accident. So she had shot him. Said that he was being taught how to shoot a gun. And, I remember hearing and kind of was like, wow. Because, that's the way life sometimes takes a different course. But she only spent minimal time in jail, maybe like 30 days or something, and then lived the rest of her life. But she has, like I said, I have a couple of her albums, and I think this was maybe her third album. So I pulled that out kind of just in remembrance. Another phenomenal album by Quiet Sun. This is Mainstream. 1975 on Antilles. Prog, I'd say prog rock on here. Had Charles Haywood on drums, Dave Jarrett on Rhodes pianos, Phil Manzanera on guitar, and Bill McCormick. Of course, Phil being in the Roxy Music. What else? I think it had some ties to Gong in here. And there was another group. But anyways, also this album features Brian Eno. Was it Manzanera and Eno? I think they had an 801. They had that group. So this is they had formed in the late '60s and then reformed for this album. This is the only album they did, and it's a great album, man. It rocks, and then it has its really quiet moments. And the song RFD was one that was real mellow and had its mellow moments. And at the time, the space that I was in, that really stuck out to me. And but I love this album. I haven't listened to it in a while, so I pulled it out. I was just going through and pull this one. And so gladly I put it on, and it holds up. You know, from I remember when I first discovered this and listened to this a lot. So another one. I think I've seen this shown throughout the years, I'm sure. But if you ever see it, check it out. If you like prog rock, more into the jazz section, you know, kind of goes here and there. Here's another band, Friend Sound. This is Joyride. This is a one-off of ex-members of Paul Revere and the Raiders. In Brotherhood, this group, they went on to do an album of a band called Brotherhood, and I've got both of their albums. And this was more on the psychedelic experimental side. I really liked this one. 1969 on RCA. I liked RCA, man. I remember there was a time I was just finding RCA psychedelic records all the time, or, you know, garage psych, or going into that realm of psychedelia, sometimes pop. But I've got a lot of great RCA, and I actually have one in my dollar my dollar finds that I just found. Of it's more probably the sunshine pop, I'd say. As I get older, man, my my voice is like it goes hoarse sometimes, like when I speak a lot. But anyways, this has got some great moments on here. Like I said, it's going to some experimental realms, and definitely different from Paul Revere and the Raiders, and Brotherhood, really. But yeah, this was their little experimental album that they did, Joyride. Again, I see Jim Gordon on drums on Here's a Song. You know, a lot of great. He was on a lot of great albums, man. And he has his own tragic story as well, if you don't know him. But yeah, he plays on Childhood's End drums. So if you ever see that, check that out. Friend Sound. Here's a cool experimental album, Promo, from I believe 1969, 1970. Head. This was, there's a guy named Rick Rycevic, I think was his name. Is his name? I don't know. I'm not sure if he's still around, but I've got some of his experimental albums, at least one or two that I remember. But this is a kind of a experimental, psychedelic, definitely early electronic album called Head. 1970 on Buddha Records. This is pretty cool. It's actually got a coloring book or activity book. It says, inside you will find something colorful to do with your hands while you're listening to this album. I like little messages like that. But just hand drawings, you know, and I'm fortunate you don't ever find, I guess not ever, but it's rare when you find, especially from obscure albums like this, that you find the actual innards. But anyways, this album is pretty, I think this is trip music, man. You get on a trip, you turn this on, you'll expand more, and you'll travel further. It's all early Moog synthesizer, and you know, all the songs are like Cannabis Sativa, Methadone, Lysergic Acid, LSD. And the sound of numbers for soaking in soft dreams, soft moments and private notes, making a rhyme into the habit. An album that creates the ultimate environment for the smoke generation. Taste it. I tasted it, man. You know, I remember when I got this album earlier on in my life. It was an interesting trip. So yeah, man. Thought I thought mean. I'm happy to have that in my collection. It's good head music, like I said. May have to turn that on again. Definitely late night listening. I pulled this one out. This is Western Flyer by Hapsash and the Colored Coat. Sorry, Colored Coat. This is their second and I think final album on Imperial. It's kind of more on the folk, psychedelic, but more on the folk side. I mean, they cover a Woody Guthrie song on here, and but it's got its good moments. Big thing that sticks out to me was T.S. McPhee from the Groundhogs plays guitar on here, which is interesting. And these guys are a bunch of artists. I believe they did a lot of the, I don't know if they were part of the Fool, did a lot of the posters, the psychedelic scene. One of these guys, I can't remember which one, the last album I talked about in my last video, John Martin album, Stormbringer, he did the album photography and the put together and all that. So yeah, percussion by the Heavy Metal Kids, backing vocals by the Rock and Roll Women. But I like that. I like those nice drawings. It's a good clean copy of that. So yeah, and this came out in I think 70 maybe. I can't remember. 70, I'd say 69, 70, 71, but I think it was 70. Still riding the hippie psychedelic scene going into the new decade. So I enjoyed listening to that. I hadn't heard that in a while. I have their first album as well. I pulled that out. One of my favorite movies of all time, probably my second favorite movie of all time. I love the soundtrack. I love the visuals. I love the message and the meaning of the film, and just the actors. And I don't know, man. It's just it's always been one of my favorites. I remember when I discovered that movie when I was young. It just drew me in, and I'm still there. I can watch it anytime. I've got I've got a VHS, like 3 DVD versions and like 3 Blu-ray versions of this movie, and movie posters, and you know, I just love it. I relate. So I pulled this out the other day in the honor of Dennis Hopper. Easy Rider soundtrack, perfect soundtrack. The only thing that they missed on this was the band's The Weight. You know, they couldn't get the licensing from the record company to Dunhill, so you know, it's all that. So they had to get the band Smith. You know, it's a good version, but it's not. You know, I feel like that song is as essential as Born to Be Wild. You know, as essential as all the songs. I mean, every song on this album is like a music video when they play the song, man. It's like it belongs, and you couldn't, knowing this film, you couldn't take that song or that part out of the movie and it wouldn't be the same, in my opinion. I just love it. I love the message. I love the feeling. Like I said, my favorite is the scenery when they're driving through the hills and the mountains, and just being hippies and being looking for freedom, looking for America. The casting: Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper, Jack Nicholson. 3 of my favorites. I love Dennis Hopper. He's just one of my all-time favorite actors. I put him up there with Nicholson as well. And I have love for Peter Fonda. But this is, of course, Steppenwolf, The Pusher, Born to Be Wild, The Weight by Smith, Wasn't Born to Follow, Wonderful by the Byrds, If You Want to Be a Bird, The Holy Modal, Rounders. I mean, you couldn't have that off this album. I mean, out of this film, because, you know, that's just Nicholson's. That's the part, man, the football helmet. Don't Bogart Me, man. Fraternity of Man. I've got that album as well. One of my favorite scenes, 6 Was 9, with the Jimi Hendrix Experience. I remember when I first heard when I first saw that film when I was young. What is this, man? I mean, Hendrix is in this. Kerry Eelson, the Electric Prunes, when they go into New Orleans. It's All Right, Mom, I'm Only Bleeding by Roger McGuinn, Bob Dylan. Ballad of Easy Riser, Roger McGuinn, the ending. So yeah, just I remember years ago, probably about 20 years ago, I'd go to my library and I'd check out CDs and burn them, and and I remember they had a deluxe edition. Remember they had those deluxe edition CDs, and it had a whole shitload of different songs that were, and I think they actually included the band's version. But I'm still looking out for that. I've got a burnt copy, but another great album, Jade Warrior on Vertigo. This was 1970, I think, 1971. Man, this album, I love it. I dig it. 3-piece. Tony Duhigg on guitar, John Field percussion and flute, and Glenn Havard on bass and vocals. Connections with Gong, Steve Hillard's band. I think John Field. Who did he play with? That's on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, takes you to takes you on a journey, and big standout for me I like is the Dragonfly Day, including Metamorphosis, Dance of the Sun Spirit, and Death. But the opening, The Traveler, man, I like. My favorite, I mean, I love the whole album, but my favorite are the quiet moments, the flute, the rhythms, the guitar. So, and I only have one other Jade Warrior, which I got to change. But yeah, this is one, and I can't remember. I think this is their first album, maybe. Yeah. So, anyways, one that's okay. It's considered psychedelia. They were signed by Rothschild, the Doors producer, Paul Rothschild. And this is 1968. Man, I'm off on my dates. On Elektra Records. Song that stuck out to me was "And How Am I to Know." It has all these little intervals in there, so it kind of takes away from the psychedelia for me. And but it's got some good moments. Paul Rothschild and Jack Holtzman. So they had a couple albums, and this is their first album, Ars Nova. So I thought this was a promo, but I don't think it is. But yeah, it's good to have for my psychedelic collection, my psychedelic rock collection. Going to psychedelic rock. Fever Tree, first album. I hadn't listened to this in a while. This was on the Uni label. And I believe they were from Houston, Texas, I think. But yeah, it's got some great fuzz on this album. They had 3 or 4 albums. I think I have them all, but this is their first album. And this is one of my first psychedelic records that in that genre of music that I remember getting early on. But I like the song "The Man Who Paints the Pictures." You know, their biggest thing on here, their biggest hit on here was "San Francisco Girls," "Return of the Native," and but yeah, I think it's all great. And but yeah, I love the fuzz. I love the vocals, the way it goes with the album. So another great one. The collection. The UK press of one of my favorite bands, Caravan. I love the Pink album, The Land of Grey and Pink. Did I say that right? This was 1970. And this is "If I Had to Do It All Over Again, I'd Do It All Over You." Yeah. So Decca Records. So this was just has that same vibe. I love the keyboards in this band. Like it just the way it's so different to me. It's just it's style, but another great album that I enjoy that I hadn't listened to. I need more Caravan. I've got several of their albums and one that's pretty bad shape cover wise, but um, yeah, I like this one a lot. So what can I say? And the last one I listened to just yesterday, I guess, was I pulled out Jethro Tull. I've been neglecting Jethro Tull for a long time because I grew up on Jethro Tull. My dad and my sister, when she started playing flute, I think I've told the story that he went out and bought her a Jethro Tull album for inspiration for her to learn, and she was like in 6th grade. So, Benefit. This is one of I think their 3rd or 4th album. Sorry for those Jethro Tull heads out there for not being ignorant in that, but yeah, great album, man. Great album. The song, I guess the single off this was Teacher. But with you there to help me, nothing to say, Inside, Sun from Michael Collins, Jeffrey and Me, To Cry You a Song, A Time of Everything, Teacher, Playing Time, Society, You're a Woman. Can I say, man, a staple, Jethro Tull. I do have several of their albums, but I am missing some, so I need to get on that. But anyways, a little longer than I want it to be. Man, just keep on digging, man. Keep on living. Find your happiness. The world's an ugly place right now, and I'm really concerned on where it's headed. Just with this ignorant shit that's going on right now. It's like, what are you trying to prove? You're stripping everything, man. You're even now you're targeting nature. Don't fuck with the animals, man. Don't fuck with nature, man. It's just all insane, and it's just why? Because you can, or you think you can. I don't know. I don't get it. Let's be good to each other, man. Let's embrace each other and lift each other up. What are we doing? And I know there's people out there that disagree with me. That's your trip, man, not mine. I was born to love, man. I can't help it. I have an empathetic soul, and it's not weakness. I think it's people that are like that are strong people. People that have imaginations and people that are dreamers and do great things. We've seen it. Why are we going backwards? It's just I don't like mean people, bullies and greedy rich people. And you got that much money, man, do something good in life. Fucking just do something good. I always say, man, in my mind, I always say, if I was in that position, whether people liked it or not, I would try to do good for each other and for this world. And it's not because I'm looking for anything or wanting anything. It's just like, I don't know. I know how it is, man. I've been on that side of the road, man, and I've seen it. I know people. I've experienced. I deal with a lot of the food kitchens and donating food and food pantries and stuff. I try to contribute something, just to contribute, man. And it's just concerning. My mind is buzzing about this shit all the time, man, and it just infuriates me. So I know if you follow me on Instagram or wherever, I may make a comment, I may call somebody a name, just as a comment, or just post something. But I've been trying to quiet down because it's not healthy for me. It's not good for my energy to get caught up in evil deeds and bullshit. And that's just me being real. I can't help it. So, anyways, everybody take care. Be good to yourselves. Be good to others. Be healthy. Be well. Take care, and I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.